Yeah, now, will you believe me that one of the items on this sheet of cardboard is a guitarist's secret weapon? You want to take a guess which one it is? Which one of the three? Well, I can tell you, it's this little piece of hard graphite, otherwise known as pencil lead. You know, when I was in junior school in the late 60s, mid-late 60s, they used to make pencils called HB2 by Stapler, a German manufacturer. That was back in the day. Now, this is a beautiful Paul Reed Smith 594 McCarty 594, which happens to get its name from the McCarty, the CEO, who worked for Paul Reed Smith. We used to work at Gibson together. Anyway, but like Gibson, a Paul Reed Smith G-string goes more often than not goes out of tune. So we've been through a very cold 4 or 5 months of very cold, especially down here in the basement with the window, a very cold winter, and it causes the wood, and this one's got a double metal truss rod running down it. And I found that after the winter, now that it's getting quite balmy, it's only, you know, reaching 25 degrees centigrade, but I'm finding that it's quite balmy and humid, and the guitar's constantly going out of tune all of a sudden in the last 2-3 weeks especially. So once again I needed to adjust it. So you can see I've got the truss rod cover exposed, and I used oh, here we go, I used the, you know, the supplied key, and I stuck it in there. Now remember, if you're facing the guitar from the angle, like looking down towards the bridge, then if you turn the key to the right is tight and left is loose. Now be very cautious when you adjust the Paul Reed Smith guitar, because I said it's got a double truss rod and a mechanism which is leverage, which means that a very small turn makes a big impact on the tension of the metal rod within this neck. So if you want to snap your neck, you give it a full turn. Now, back to this hard piece of pencil lead there between my fingers. So I take the knife, and I've already done the exercise, not to bore you any more than I am, and I shaved it into the nut slot there. You can see maybe how dirty it is, but I'd rather have it dirty, because this is a fantastic lubricant, because the string needs to move freely between that nut. So the truss rod adjustment gets the tension and the relief of the neck right. And if I tighten it too much, the neck will, do it like that. It has to, a string instrument has to have a slight bow in it. And when you tighten the truss rod, the bow is flattened. Now, if it was too loose, you'd have a huge bow, and the strings would be, you know, that high off the fretboard, and it wouldn't be playable. So you can then decide what height you prefer the strings. You know, these guitars have got very specific, like 3/64ths of an inch string height. When you depress at the first fret, you should have a string height of 3/64ths according to factory specifications, but it's up to you. So I've got at the 12th fret the relief, or the distance between this fret wire here above the 12th fret. The pick just fits under that string, and that's the thickness. It's a jazz pick. It's quite a thick pick. I actually play with it's not very flexible. It's like a bottom of a milk jar, but not as thick. But I like it, because what I found, it makes my wrist I discovered that about 4 or 5 years ago. I used to play with a very pliable pick all my life, probably 45 years. Not that I played all that time, but since I was age 14. But I find that this makes my my forearm and wrist move, and now it's and it doesn't give away when you want to do speed picking, you know. Yeah, you know, I can turn the gain up if you want me to, and let's do that again. You see, the pick doesn't give way, it's solid anyway. And now, so I found that in the winter, the truss rod, I'm not a physicist, but I have a basic knowledge from school. The truss rod would have contracted because of the cold. The wood and the metal especially would have contracted and therefore bowed the neck. So what I've done, when I look down from this end of that, I went left with the key. I turned it anti-clockwise, and then therefore made it looser. I let the neck bow a little bit more, just a fraction, just like a 16th of a 360, 1/16 of 360 degrees anti-clockwise, and I relieved the neck to relieve some of the tension. Here, you heard it, because I've been fiddling with the tension of the neck, and I've also loosened this guitar strings to get underneath them quite substantially. And now at least 5 minutes for the neck to settle down. Some people go like that, they hold the guitar here and they hold it there, but caution, you don't go snap the neck if you're too strong guy or lady. You know, you go like that, so get it to find. Happy with that. So if I go like this now, the guitar stays in tune, and the chances are I'll come back to it tomorrow and the day after, and even though I give it a good workout, something gave way there, but it's because the guitar is still settling in. There you go. So it's a lot more stable now, I think. I need to take some of that off. You might find, like me, that when you play the open G string, it's in perfect tuning using electronic tuner. And when you push the A note at the second fret, it's showing sharp. Oh, I find that's inherent in these Paul Reed Smiths and a Gibson Les Paul, unfortunately to say. My Fender Stratocaster, 1954, 60-year reissue, 2014 model obviously, stays perfect. The intonation, I've had the guitar now 10 years, 10 and a half years. It's absolutely perfect. I've never had to touch it. But these two, I think it's to do with the string tree, you know, because of the, lesser so with the Paul Reed Smith than a Gibson Les Paul standard. You know, the angle of the string to the machine head peg. But once again, I'm not a physicist. But you can tell me your experience. So as I said, on my string height, I've just got it, the thickness, the pick just barely slides in without, just slightly moves the string, which means it's just slightly lower than the thickness of that pick. For some strange reason, the E string, which is not customary, but it's to do with the fact that I've been fiddling with the tension in the neck. But it will settle down. And I hope to go make some music now. Some practice and some music. Thanks for viewing.